Whoa! Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 207th edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by the amazing Spider-Man Defense Force, Jayden.
Howdy.
Howdy. And we've got Charlie Day, aka Luigi, aka Fitzy, aka Liam.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi. That wasn't too protracted this week, actually. That wasn't too bad for you. Yeah. That's okay. That's all good. Yeah. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. And this week, unfortunately, Liam won the poll. Again, he needs to be stopped. So we're watching Eden. It's a French DJ movie. Or how would you say DJ in French? Like DJ.
DG,
You know?
yeah.
DJ.
Well, he clarifies for his mum, it's not DJ, it's DJ, Like
Yeah, but I feel like DJ, they sort of say it like that with their little accent, DJ. I think that's terrible, but I think it's cute. Eden opened in France on November 19th, 2014. It was directed by Mia Hansen-Løve, but Love's got that like cross through the O.
Mm.
Is that what I meant to do with it, Louvre?
I don't know. Louvre.
I don't actually know.
Like I meant, yeah, neither do I. But I'll just like it looks sick though, just having that in your name. If I don't care like what my actual surname was. If I had an O in my surname, I'd just do that shit. Just put it through.
Have you seen like these what do you call them? Scandinavian people get like upset when like English bands use like the umlauts or like that dash through the R's because it just completely misspells the word and like how it's meant to be pronounced.
It completely botches it.
So the Scandinavians would actually be very pissed off with you if you were to do that.
Yeah, fair. Wait, so is the other one when they do like the two dots over it?
Yeah, the umlauts.
Yeah,
I think
that's pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, if it's actually butchering the language, then that's fair. But you can't deny the aesthetic appeal. It's pretty cool. It's a music drama. I don't know if I said that already, but the synopsis says Paul, a teenager in the underground scene of early 90s Paris, forms a DJ collective with his friends, and together they plunge into the nightlife of sex, drugs, and endless music. Indeed. Okay. Where should I start? I'll start with Jayden. This is our first time experiencing this film. And I'm very curious, as clearly you're going to be researching DJs for the rest of this episode. You're into the DJ scene a little bit. I don't know. I'm just now speaking for you. What do you think of Eden? Oh shit! I should have gone on a bit longer, but that's okay.
That's right. Like part of me loved this movie because like dance music was very seminal to my growing up and my acquisition of music taste. My dad is a massive kind of Italo disco Eurodance kind of fan. He's probably got one of the biggest collections in Australia of that music. So many of these songs are familiar because he fucking has the 12-inch singles of these and he fucking spin them every, like as a childhood, throughout my childhood, like a lot of these things are like the whole music part of this film is very like kind of cool to me because, well, dance is important to me, and then start hearing these songs from my childhood as well was great. But then like I think there was like the other part that is unfortunately is so entwined with kind of dance and the electronic scene is the drug culture, and there's so much of that in this film as well, and I hate that. So like every time he's fucking snorting cocaine at 2 a.m, I'm like, I don't give a shit, man. So like it was that constant war of myself of like, I love the music, I hate the culture,
Yeah.
But then I think it kind of met a place where I was happy with towards the latter half of the film. But then the fact that it took so long, it is a long film, But yeah, I was very pleased with this, in the end.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I mean, did the culture feel like it was reflected accurately? So I guess
well, it's like electronic music, dance music is very entwined with the drug culture, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's 100% accurate. Like that's not an issue. It's just the reality. But like in terms of like the actual like underground scene of music in Paris, how the fuck am I meant to know, man?
No. I guess I'm just more like in terms of that being sort of a bit more downside for you if it's more of a good thing that the film represented it. and like it made you feel that way because that's sort of the truth of it. You know what I mean? As opposed to a criticism on the film for focusing on it so much.
Probably a bit of both, because I hate how present it is. I think dance music's like one of the few musics that you don't need to take anything to just enjoy. It just makes you feel elated on its own, you know. So when people are fucking rolling off MDMA and ecstasy at all these fucking events, it just pisses me off because I'm like, you're fucking ruining it for everyone, man. Because you know you're fucking here slogging around and shit, and like you're a piece of shit. But then you know the film reaches its own conclusion on that, and you know everyone ends up quitting, and you know it's like, oh okay, so then you know. Like, yeah, good.
Yeah, exactly. It does address that in that way.
Mm.
I liked the movie overall. I'm not like definitely not nearly into the music aspect as much as you guys, I assume, will be, or definitely as Jayden is. It's not a turn off for me though either. I'll say that. It's just kind of, you know, it's cool. It's fine. It doesn't like heighten my enjoyment overall, but the more time passed in the movie, as I started to sort of feel like the decades aspect of the story, that's and entwined with like the worst things got for Paul. That's when the movie started to click with me more and more. Like the first half, I was just going, all right, yeah, he's here, he's trying to DJ, cool. And then in the second half, that was definitely more when it's like I started to feel the story overall a bit more. So yeah, no, I did end up liking it quite a bit. Fitzy, this is your grand return to this film. How did you go?
Yeah, third watch. Yeah, I still really like it. I think it's a very long, like, slice of life film, both in terms of like how long the film feels and like how much time it covers. But I don't know, it's a very successful slice of life film. It feels very, you know, intimate with this kind of particular scene. So I yeah, I like it. And I also relate to what you said about like understanding what like Paul's journey later on, and kind of the way the film just kind of slowly loses momentum. I think it's very, very cool and feels very, I don't know, true to life, I guess. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. How did you go watching this film in French?
I they didn't have French subtitles, so unfortunately I couldn't. And the English subtitles were like forced upon me.
Yeah, that was like hard
yeah.
coded in. That was weird as.
Yeah. And like the closed captions on Stan were just like, you know, electronic music playing kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, and you know the sequence. I think it happens a couple times, like maybe during the text messages, and then obviously at the end of the poem, where like you know the text comes up on screen, but it's like because the English is hard coded in, as you said, it's like you get both. Obviously, we get like I would need both, but it's just like you get both hard coded in. So it's just this mess of text like fading in and out all over the screen, and it's just kind of like you'd think you'd just have the French thing like as originally intended, and then like you could have the English, in the actual like app on the app side. You know what I mean? But
it's like they really cared about English audiences for some reason. Yeah.
That last scene was meant to be in English. No, that last poem.
Oh, yeah, true. So then, actually, so why do we need the French needed to read it.
Yeah.
But then, like, can't they get their version of Stan like translated for them? You know what I mean?
They can learn English for it.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, that was read in English. That's true. I find this genuinely interesting, Fitzy. I'm not, like, why have you seen this movie twice? And that sounds like accusatory or something, but I'm like genuinely like, I think it's a good starter of like. But so yeah, twice before this. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But like, what like draws you? What draws you back to it?
I don't know. I just like it. I think it's like one of the best kind of slice of life films. Like I could watch this on repeat for sure. I don't know why, but it's just one of those films I can rewatch.
Okay, I was curious if it's like just like. Because there are some sort of extended, like, sort of DJ sequences where it does the film sort of just becomes a vibe. You know what I mean? Like, more so than story or anything else. It sort of just becomes, oh, yeah, we're just here dancing, having a vibe. I sort of was wondering if it was, like, more of that side, or maybe that spoke to Jayden more, or I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know much about, like, this DJ scene, like, garage and stuff like that. I mean,
Mm.
I think the Daft Punk stuff is cool. Them being kind of side characters in this film instead of the main show. But like, yeah, that doesn't. That's not the main hook of this film, I guess, for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it's just
Well, probably it sounds like more so just the stuff like I was talking about, like when we'll talk about Paul and all that kind of thing.
yeah.
You know, the main character.
Paul Atreides.
Yeah. Paul Atreides. That's right, French guy. For a guy who can speak French. Yeah. So, Jayden, like, how did you feel about, like, you already touched on it a little bit, but like, was a lot of your enjoyment coming from like with these extended DJ sequences, the music that they were using? Just like, were you just vibing with the film in those? Because there were like times where it's like 5 minutes of just, you know,
Yeah, they were great, but I also did like really appreciate like Paul's story and his kind of fucking cycle of depression that he kind of descends into.
Oh yeah.
And it was all told really well. I think it's hard to follow at some points because some of the women that he is dating either look the same, feel the same, are the same. But I mean, like even like at that, like even that he makes a comment on that saying he doesn't even remember if he was in a relationship with someone at the end. So like maybe that's intentional. But I did also take enjoyment out of following Paul's story and like kind of constant heartbreak and very minor highs, you know.
Yeah, I get you. I didn't get as confused with the girlfriends. I got more confused with, like, it took me a minute to realize, like probably 15 minutes into the film to like concretely understand that Cyril and Paul, like which one was which.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That took me a little bit. That took me a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Once I got over that, I was pretty right, surprisingly for me. But in terms of
Cyril
you guys,
dies pretty, you know.
well, not early. He's
not early,
in it.
but, you know.
He's in it for a bit. He's
Yeah,
around.
I guess.
But yeah, he does cark it. I thought so. My understanding coming into the film was a bit odd, I think, or a bit off. I thought, didn't we say last week that this film was meant to be based on Daft Punk? Or did I Daft Punk came up last week.
I think I said it's based on the scene where Daft Punk kind of came out of.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That makes way more sense now. Okay. In my head, I'm kind of like, oh yeah, is this Paul guy meant to be like a sub for like whoever leads Daft Punk? Because at the start, I don't know anything about these people. So at the start, I'm kind of like, oh, I assume he ends up becoming successful, and then he ends up becoming Daft Punk. You know what I mean? Like right as it started. Yeah, but it's like, oh no, Daft Punk's also here now. So it's like, oh, that's weird. And then I was like, and then for a second, I was like, is this going to get really meta? Like where it's like Daft Punk, this Daft Punk's talking to Daft Punk. But no, I was just way overthinking that stuff. But yeah, I can't even remember what Paul's, because they had a band name, right? It was kind of
Cheers.
Oh, yeah,
like the TV show.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
that's
kind of lame.
Same
That's kind of lame
as well.
Yeah, I thought it was a shit name as well, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's not very.
It was.
Yeah,
doomed from the start.
Yeah, totally. In terms of that band, like that, we had Paul. We had Stan the Man here as well. Stan was solid throughout the film. Did we ever see him take drugs? I don't recall that, because I sort of just felt he was a solid presence in the film, like a good, you know, sturdy kind of character, which was cool. What did Cyril even do in this band? Because I feel like he was never up there performing. He was
the art behind the band, you know.
Oh, he was the artist.
Yeah, he was the comic book artist, illustrator, drawer.
Oh, okay, but what was he doing there, like cover art or something?
No, he was just best friends with Paul, and you know he did some of their titles and some of their promos and shit like that.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, I was confused about that. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't part of the band, really.
Gotcha. So the band is Paul and Stan, right? Gotcha. It's like, so there you go. It's like the presets. And then what is I don't know how to say his name properly. Arnold, whatever.
He was working with Cyril on the comic because I think he was like doing the stories. He was doing the writing, and then Cyril does the illustrating.
Yeah. Okay.
He seemed like he was pretty ingrained in like the music part as well. He seemed like he was kind of meant to be like a manager or like a producer as well.
I was going to say he sort of felt like their manager to me.
Yeah. He worked in radio, right?
Yeah, I think he worked in the radio F thing as well.
Mm.
But I don't know. I think he was just like part of that scene because I
Mm.
think the comic book was partly like related to DJs. So I don't know. I don't think he was a manager, but I think he was just like in there, a big guy in the culture, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I don't know, he's just because he was kind of an older dude, so I thought he felt like a bit of a mentor kind of guy as well.
I don't know if he was meant to be older though.
Really?
Because like obviously he looks older than them, but
The movie does go
it's the
for a
whole
while.
thing that it's 20 years and none of the characters age. I guess some actors just look younger than others. So like I don't know if it was like, is he actually meant to be older than them, or is he meant to age like the rest of them? And it just happens by casting in the way that they're doing it. He just looks older from the start.
Mm. Yeah, right. It's like, the end result. It's like casting an actor where it's like it makes sense at the start and then less so at the end versus the other way around. Where it's like, oh yeah, this guy, it looks right for the end part, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know about that. But yeah, like, so I don't know. I'm curious. I feel we've got to definitely get more into the music side of it. They describe their genre as New York garage in general. But as someone who has no expertise in these genres, like, is this genre up your alley, Jayden? This kind of music in particular, there, because I know there's a lot of music in the film that's sort of not, but their music.
Yeah, kind of everything that spawned from garage. Like garage is a lot of fun and it's kind of like the origin of a lot of things. But like when I think of garage, I think of more of the UK scene when it gets a bit more of that drum kind of, like that bit of a drum kick to it. And like a lot of this music is, this whole film is very nostalgic for all the old heads of music. Like, there's not a lot that I would like personally latch onto, but like there's a lot of like classics in here and like kind of a classic catalog that isn't overly mainstream because I assume budget reasons. But to be fair, there's like 4 Daft Punk songs, so like that would cost a lot of money as well. But like so garage, I fuck with, but not entirely.
Yeah, okay.
Like it's not my go-to genre, but like it's kind of the spawn of most things. So like I'm a bit more of a house guy.
Yeah, is this, like you sort of said at the start? But is their music more reflective of like what your dad has?
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, that's interesting. That's cool. That, I mean, there was a couple of songs I did recognize that popped up during, sort of, some of the DJ sequences, and I think also just some during some montages and stuff. But so that "One More Time" song, is that a Daft Punk song?
Yeah, man.
Okay, all right. Like, obviously, I know that song. You know what I mean? It's like that song's a cheat code for hype. You know what I mean? I think they play that over. I think they play that when they go to New York for the first time. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Over that montage, and it's just like, dude, it's like, come on, you know what I mean? They just like cheated. They could have, you could have put anything over that. I would have been into it. So that was cool. Were there any other? So there were a few other Daft Punk songs as well. I didn't notice.
Okay. So the first one they play at that party, Daft Punk, is brilliant, fantastic song.
Okay.
But it's probably like when they're at that party and it's Guy and Tom behind the decks and they try and everyone starts vibing to it and they're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
There was Within very much later in the film because I think they tried to keep it rather period accurate because like Within was a 2013 song, so I think Within played towards the end of the film. And I think there was another one, wasn't there?
Virtus Quo was there?
Oh yeah, Virtus Quo, brilliant one. Yeah, that was close to the end as well, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, second half, I think, second part.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, had you heard of any other music? Like, was there any other big music in the film other than Daft Punk?
Tracks I recognized, for sure. Hold on, let me.
Okay.
That flute song that played, was it Sueno Latino? It was a famous one. There was a Martin Solveig song, Jealousy. I was familiar. Gypsy Woman, I was familiar with.
Okay, all right. Gee, that's a fair bit.
Yeah, and then like some of the artists, and some of the vocalists, I was aware of, and like they name drop a few people, like Nile Rodgers. He was the Nile Rodgers is legendary. You'll know who he is by his songs that he's done. He's written and produced for everyone. But like his main thing is like for Shake and
Cool, cool. I mean, I'm clearly a total novice in this area, no doubt. But that's why I ask you guys. And also, like, I appreciated how. I mean, we'll get to Paul in a second, but like in terms, I appreciated his passion for the music as well, and that was sort of the part that made the story compelling was that you could sort of swap out any passion, for the main character. For him, um, it's obviously this music and the DJing and all that kind of thing. But I really just appreciated like he had this line. I can't remember. I think he was talking. I can't remember who he was talking to, but he put on a song, and someone was like, "Oh, I wouldn't listen to this at home," and he said, "I would." So like he just loves the music no matter what. Like it's not even just like he goes there to take drugs and dance or whatever, or jump around. Like he just loves the music in any context. Yeah. What other? Oh, yeah. So you had the other aspect I was kind of curious about was that you had those two singers come in and sing for them as well. You had that guy that they flew in from New York. First of all, was he kind of trash? I need an expert opinion on
No.
this.
he was pretty much what he needed to be.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. All right. And so why do they? And so they were paying for these singers.
Mm.
That was the other thing. I was kind of, why are they paying? And so
Yeah,
they,
I was
you know
confused
what I
on
mean?
their success level throughout like periods of the film, and like portions where I thought they should have been making more money than when they were, and their relationship in the standings of like the music scene seemed wrong at points. I guess like to be
Right.
recognizable enough to be performing at MoMA, but then you still need to pay huge out of pocket to collaborate with these other singers. It all
Right.
just felt weird. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I get it sort of clicked for me more in the second time when they had that chick come over. And it
Mm.
was like, and they were clearly like struggling there financially.
Mm.
Um, and they had to pay for a hotel and shit. But it's like, yeah, I was just kind of like, why are they paying for a hotel? Because I don't know. So they're paying her in that case, to collaborate, like to sing the vocals on their song. That's the idea.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like, doesn't the
No.
song already exist in some other? You know what I mean?
I think for those events when like with that female singer at the end, I think that at that point they were kind of just club DJs, and that they were probably promoting an event for that because she seemed like she was more of a classic kind of artist at that point rather
Yeah,
than
she did.
a
Yeah, yeah.
collaborator with them. So I think that's what it was in those
But that
instances.
was still a Cheers event at that point because they had like the Cheers. They had their logo like all over the wall and stuff. So
But that was when they had a residency at a club, though. Like they were still, I think they were still trying to promote and make money off their residency at the club.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then the club owner comes and talks to them about
That's the
the show
same
they shot
part,
on.
right?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think it was.
I don't know.
Was it not? It felt like it was. It was pretty close if it wasn't, I think. I don't know. I guess I just would have thought like it would have been they would have been playing their own songs and then they would just like have the vocals playing electronically. Like I guess I didn't really understand in that world that like having an actual vocalist come in like to that extent where they fly them over. Like if you had someone local, maybe that's cool. But like where you pay them to come over and like sing for your track, it's kind of like, is that really like does that add so much to the experience where like people that's a draw for people? You know what I mean? Or I'd kind of just think, oh yeah, I don't know, it's not that whatever. Like they're there doing the electronic spinning, and that's pretty neat. I don't know if I need, but I guess I don't know. They did it, so I assume other people have done it. So I guess it's an appeal for people. I guess like does that anything like would that anything to you as a concert goer, Jayden? If like someone was up there doing
Oh
a
yeah,
vocal,
yeah, dude.
okay,
Like DJ sets can only do so much, um, because at the end of the day, it is a guy behind the decks, and then the most of like the show is like the light show and like the surrounding. So that's why whenever they do something a bit different to break it, and like they do have like a live thing with it, it's always exciting. Like there's this guy called Ilenium, and with his live shows, they're like borderline rock shows now, where like they have a full band with drums, DJ. Like it's him on the decks, but then he also plays guitar. They have drums, they have vocals and all that, and it just adds so much more because it makes it like a much more kind of kinetic experience at the front, as well as just having like the light show. And
yeah,
then like
right,
having live vocals, having live anything does so much to a performance. Like
gotcha.
you can feel the difference between a actual hit of a drum and a drum plate over a speaker.
Yeah, yeah, okay, I mean, okay. That does make tons of sense. I guess I was kind of like, as someone, again, has got no idea, I'd just be kind of like, oh, yeah, what's the difference? But yeah, okay. No, that does make sense. That's cool. Okay, we can get into Paul's life story, his depressing life story. It's based on, like the only interesting trivia that this IMDb had for this movie was that it's based on Mia's brother, Sven, loosely. So that's cool. I guess she wrote this movie about her brother. That's pretty cool. But yeah, so this movie is basically just it's a slice of life. It's about his journey overall. I don't know. We can pick apart different aspects of it. I mean, Greta Gerwig turning up was like, I did not expect that. Did you expect that, Jayden? I was kind of like,
Ooh.
oh, okay.
Actually, I saw her name like on the stand credits, and I was
She was there.
I was very surprised by that. But yes, like when she actually rocked up in the film, I was less surprised than I would have liked to be. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I saw her in the actual like opening title credits, but then like because I couldn't like it because then like I couldn't read what it said above it. Like I thought she was like, I don't know, she's a producer or something. I don't know.
No,
But then she actually turned up in the movie. But yeah, this was an interesting aspect of the movie. I guess I kind of want to get this out of the way first because I don't know if this is an example of the film not entirely working for me though, because first of all, definitely a huge past lives aspect going on here with the way in which she breaks up with him over the letter, which was brutal because that's like the equivalent of like a text message today. You know what I mean? I don't think they could text back then. I'm pretty sure. So that was brutal. And then obviously when they meet up again in New York later, there was kind of that past lives element, even when Paul had to go and meet her boyfriend, you know. So that was awkward, but cool. But
you
yeah,
didn't
I don't
realize
know.
she was in like a big time abusive relationship, right?
That's how you read it?
Bro, she was scared to show him the fucking laundry because like had Paul not been there, he would have beat her.
Yeah. You know what? You're right. I kind of missed that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, no, it makes perfect sense. Is that
me and my mum debated over this.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't think that interaction was indicative of that, but my mom seemed to think so. But initially, I was like kind of seeing that, but then I saw like it was literally just the case that she shrunk his expensive sweater. You know what I mean?
Right.
And him mentioning that it's like a Prada sweater was just like it just was. You know, it wasn't supposed to be anything that like vitriolic. I don't think.
Nah, dude. I feel like
And he forgave her in the end, and then he was like super nice later.
He forgave her because Paul was there, man.
He did seem all right later at the. There was no other hint. You know what I mean? Like when they were. I mean, not that he's going to like hit her in public when they're at the DJ thing, but yeah, okay. I don't know. I didn't. Oh, and there was definitely something there. It was actually that's an interesting point in the subtext. But I don't know. I didn't get the sense that he would have hit her otherwise. You know what I mean? I wouldn't go that far. He had to be nicer because Paul was there. I think that's hard to deny.
Bro, she was fucking shaking, like, dude.
Was she?
Like, she was shaking, dude, and you can tell, like, you could tell from the way he was feigning, like, worry over her, like, you know, overworking herself when she's pregnant. You know, she's like, "Oh, you should have let me do that. You don't sit still since you're pregnant." You know, but you could tell there was a fakeness in his voice when he's saying that. He clearly still demands her to do the work. Like, you know, like I thought that was like.
I think that was genuine. I didn't think he was feigning anything.
Bro, you're getting manipulated by this level 1 manipulator.
Oh my god!
No, you're just yeah. No.
This is, you know what? This is. I did not even expect to talk about this at all. But like, I kind of wish the movie had gone into like. This is actually kind of interesting. Wish the movie there was more evidence either way. You know what I mean? Because it was actually only a very brief scene in the movie overall.
The only indication is Greta Gerwig's acting, not anything he does. And I think she just is a distressed pregnant woman. You know, I don't think it's him.
That's her state of acting.
But he acts a dick, and I feel like there's an essence of jealousy that emerges when like he's like, "Oh, you're a DJ, that's cool." I feel like he's threatened by Paul's presence as well, and like I feel like that edge.
Yeah, but in any way that isn't just naturally given in the circumstance.
Yeah, it all feels like it's working towards that kind of abusive side to me.
Yeah, right. Okay. We need another film from that perspective, please.
Mm.
Maybe where Greta can justify
Yeah, she
breaking
can
all over
direct
a
it.
letter.
Mm.
Oh, she can direct it. Yeah, true. Okay, well, this kind of changes the point I was actually going to say. Was just that when they sit down at the dinner table and like have this conversation about like they being together again, this brief conversation. I don't know. It just kind of stood out to me as like an early example of the film. I think that the film remedies this later, but an early example of the film kind of not really getting anywhere emotionally, where they sit down at the dinner table and she's just like, "Oh, it's so crazy to see you. Oh, it makes me sad." And Paul was like, "I don't even want to talk about this." And then it's cut away from the scene. I was like, "Oh." You know what I mean? I feel like that was an opportunity to like get some depth going. Um, but hey, maybe I'm not even joking. Like this abusive aspect to it, like maybe that changes the context of her saying that she feels sad about seeing Paul again. You know what I mean? Is there something there that like, there's more regret there than I sense? Because in the moment when I was watching, I was just kind of like, oh wow, they just cut away from that scene quick. But
Yeah.
there's something there that I didn't see previously. I don't know.
I think it's the more the fact that he doesn't want to discuss it, and he's kind of like kind of the same person he was before, and like she even says that it's crazy how much you haven't changed. I think she literally says. So,
yeah, that's true.
I think the fact that they don't go into like a deeper conversation is meaningful in itself. They don't. Yeah.
That's the problem. Yeah, that makes sense. And then Paul doesn't change for quite a while after, so that's indicative. That makes sense. Okay, I like that. But yeah, anyway, so I sort of mentioned like the first half was, just getting your footing with the character and stuff. But I think the turning point in the movie for me really was the part 2 transition, which I think is 2002, if I remember the years right. But all of this stuff, like there's a flurry of scenes, probably like 10, 15 minutes in a row here, where it's like what's happening with Paul, where he's at, reestablishing everything with him, and just like really every scene sort of worked for me in this little flurry, because you had like I mentioned earlier, you had the club manager sort of suggesting that they change up their music because he's worried about how much people they're bringing into the club. And that's in itself obviously an indication that they're maybe not, a draw themselves. Then you get the sense that they're struggling financially. Paul having to borrow from his mum. The drugs still being an aspect. So like I feel like all these things are kind of revealed like in a row, like as the scenes go on. When Paul's mum says, "At least you don't do drugs," it's like, oh, but and then he has to pay for his that girlfriend, one of the girlfriend's drink. Like gets the bill. What was it? I don't know. She was like girlfriend number 3 or something. I think that's
That's what my mum called her too. Girlfriend number 3.
I think she was number 3. I think.
Yeah.
Girlfriend number 3 had to pay for her drink. And then that was also when they had to pay for the singer's hotel room as well. So yeah, all these things happen. And then I think, mixed in here maybe a bit after as well is when, you get the first one with Greta Gerwig earlier. But anyway, at some point he goes back to girlfriend number 2's mother's house, and you realize, as is the case with Greta Gerwig earlier, it's like, oh, all of Paul's exes have kids with other people. And it's just like, oh, that's that feels bad, man. And then Stan got married with a kid as well. So like as these things just continue to pile on for him, in these scenes that are pretty decent, that's when the film I started to get more invested in Paul sort of as a person, as a character. And I started the whole depression sort of starting to overburden him made sense. You know what I mean? Made perfect sense to me. So that was kind of where the film turned around for me, and the stuff I really liked about it. But I know we all mentioned that we like the Paul stuff. Do you guys agree that that's sort of where it turns around, or are there any standout scenes like that made you buy into him?
Yeah, it's just like it's a very sobering second part, and it's like it's not overblown in any way. So it's like
exactly.
Especially I think like that bank scene is pretty devastating in the way. It's just kind of like she's very blunt and just professional doing a job, but it's like that was kind of like the end point for Paul. No more credit card, so it was like it's pretty much over. But yeah, those scenes that kind of slow down the momentum of his life is like gives a structure to the film, gives like a shape to the film that the film doesn't initially have, because it's just he's lost in the music, as the second part's title says. So yeah, those scenes are great.
Yeah, I love how you put that. It does give a shape to the film. That's exactly right, and that's why. And once it got that shape, that's when I started to understand the film a lot more. Definitely. That, and then when he gets to the scene where he has to DJ in front of like 3 people at that.
Oh yeah, that was brutal.
That was dude. I'd be on the coke. You know what I mean? I get it. I felt Paul. That was brutal. But no, it's like it's brutal. It was brutal in like it wasn't like anything like crazy happened to him or something. You know what I mean? It was just total reality of just like, this is where he's at. This is what it looks like now. And that in itself was sort of enough.
While I was watching it, I thought like with the second half is when I kind of realized like I felt like it was really washed out in color, and I was like wondering, I was like it didn't feel like it was mirroring the story where like you kind of have these drug induced highs and stuff, and like especially from that first shot, where he sees that drawn bird. I was like, right. I was like, they're not maintaining the aesthetic, but then as he kind of gets burdened with all this shit, like it makes sense. Like I don't really recall the transition for it, but I saw other people talking about like how like there was a transition from like this kind of hyper stylized, like colorful direction towards the start, and it kind of just grew washed out as it continued. Like I didn't realize the transition, but I did realize there was a difference in what I was seeing.
Okay. Really?
So I was going to complain about it at first, but then I was like, oh no, it makes sense as he kind of continues to kind of suffer all this shit, friend dying, bank, abortion, all that stuff. Yeah. Like why it kind of grays out. So like, I think that kind of added a lot to it as well to kind of enhance the story that we're telling.
Yeah, right. I didn't really notice that, to be honest with you, but I'm glad you did.
I thought I noticed a transition in like 2001, I think, when they like I think it was one of the scenes where they're in America, and it feels like slightly sharper, or just like I don't know. It feels like less hazy, as you were kind of saying.
America definitely felt like off in terms of like the story that we're trying to tell. It felt like everything was at ends. Yeah,
I gotcha. Interesting you brought up that like that hand drawn animation thing they did at the start. I kind of still feel that way, that you like that was a weird choice that kind of, I don't know if that went anywhere for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was hoping it'd be present throughout, because like that as soon as I saw it, I took note of it, because I'm like, I'd really hope that they maintain something like this if they're going to start with it, but they didn't. But I think it makes sense to kind of it's okay for me. Like I quite like how it is a continual decrease in style, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously a standout stylistic choice, but I guess I guess I would have wanted it like put in 1 or 2 more times in the opening act, and then that probably would have had more of an effect. Because instead, it just felt like, because it was only once, it just sort of felt a bit random. You know what I mean?
You kind of felt it again, although it was part of the mise-en-scene that time. But like when they kind of walk into Cyril's apartment and he's kind of losing it and he's drawing up the walls.
Up the wall.
It kind of gave a similar effect of like where you kind of have this drug-induced kind of fear kind of thing going on. But it's not obviously like the first like scene.
No, it's not. But that's a good point. Yeah, I don't know. I think they could have committed to that choice a little bit more. Like done it 1 or 2 more times. Even have it come back later in a way that makes sense, possibly. I feel like I guess it's just got to be like more than once, for it to feel like an actual choice that was justified, I suppose. But that was interesting when that popped up, for sure. In terms of trying to track Paul's girlfriends, the key word is try, because he can't do it either, so I don't feel bad saying that. Did we? So Louise, I feel like she was like the main one of it. I would argue. Greta kind of had a different part. Yeah, I would say so. Did we get a sense of why she left Paul originally? Because I know, thank God, because when she was just gone after we'd done a time jump, I was kind of like, oh, that's weird. But then, like, it did. I appreciate she obviously was still important and came back. But, yeah, I was just curious if you guys picked up on anything about that because it was a question I had coming out of it. I know there was that they had that little kerfluffle in is that how you say that? That's not a word, but anyway, in New York. But it's like, I don't know. I didn't get a sense of like why she would abort his kid. Basically, it's pretty. He took that hard, obviously. So it's I don't know. I was just trying to understand that choice, I guess.
Louise kind of annoys me, to be honest. Like,
well, she does look like she's 12, as someone said in the movie.
But I don't know. Like, I think she's portrayed as very insecure. Like, even in the first scene. Oh, not well. Even like that early scene where she sees him like talk to another girl when he's DJing, and she leaves with like Cyril. Even there, she's like showing kind of insecure, kind of projective, behavior.
Yeah.
And then later on, she kind of does the same thing. So I think that was more or less her arc. Like her, she didn't want to talk to Greta after like 10 years or 7 years or however long it was, and everything like that. So I think they were just like. She was unstable and he was kind of unstable. And that was kind of why it ended, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But like the scene where they do leave, when they have the kerfuffle is, it is kind of brief. And then like you don't see her for a while. But I think that choice like feels consistent with the movie, the way the film just kind of jumps time and doesn't really, doesn't care about the usual kind of format for like showing relationships and breakups and that kind of thing.
Yeah, totally. You do get very much. I mean, you do very much get thrown into girlfriend number 3 of this like she's here now.
Which one are we calling number 3? Are we calling Margot number 3 or the other one number 3?
Margot. Yeah.
Okay.
Margot, yeah.
And then who's
I
the one
wrote down Yasmin's name.
Jekyll and Hyde. Is that?
I don't know who that is, but she's girlfriend number 4.
Is that the one that he gets into the club when she was getting rejected, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we're calling that 4. Okay. Right.
Yeah. Well, she is 4, right?
Well, I just wasn't sure the order. I couldn't recall the order.
Yeah. She's 4, and then he's seeing like he then sort of goes back to Louise a little bit as he's still seeing her. I felt bad because like I feel like she was pretty solid, So I felt bad about that.
Louise or
no, Yasmin.
No, but she was a full fucking druggie, man.
That is true, but I feel like emotionally, I feel like she was kind of better for it.
True.
You know what I mean?
She was bad for his habit,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. But so right at the end of the film, are they still together? In the final 2013? I don't recall her being there.
By that point, it's like I feel like they're trying to either set up the girl from the writing thing or the girl DJ he says, right?
Interesting. I don't know about the girl DJ.
Yeah,
I don't know about
think that I was trying to understand what that was. Like the other times I saw this film, I think that was more like him looking on the new younger generation of DJs and kind of reminiscing about him being younger and like coming up in a scene. I agree. Her playing Daft Punk is kind of, I don't know, it suggests that to me.
But it was a song that she was playing as well. She was playing the Within, and the lyrics, are like, I've been searching for someone, for some time, as he's staring at her. Something like that.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
But he's saying like he's lost in the mute. There are so many things that I don't understand. Like he's lost in this life, and he's seeing a young DJ where there should be. Not him. I don't know.
No, I agree with that. I can support that.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to bring that one up too, because I felt it was more about the DJing itself as opposed to the person or anything like that. But yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so Yasmin isn't there at the end, I suppose. Okay. Yeah, so I guess they are setting up the writing chick girl. That's cool. She's girlfriend number 5.
Prospective girlfriend number 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it feels like she nailed him, not nailed him, but like nailed his personality with that poem, so fast. Like, so I feel like that like, you know, like the fact that she can identify that, so you know, and if it feels like, you know, they really would know each other, you know.
What did you get out of the poem? Because
I think it was his story, pretty much, wasn't it?
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I can understand how that's the point, but for me, like, I don't know, I'm pretty bad with poems. So, like, okay, I got the notion of a rhythm, right, and then I got the notion of like a lot of existential stuff going on, and then it's just, I don't know, like, it kind of, I got lost in the poem, so to speak.
Wasn't there was lines about people coming and going and him not changing or something like that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. It just felt like it really like mirrored and kind of concisely retold what was happening.
as in, yeah, okay, right, like all these friends and shit, they
Yeah.
either die or get married or whatever,
And it
and
felt like
then
it was important for him to read at that point, you know.
yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I like that. I'm just done with poems, to be honest.
I
But
know so am I, but we have a publishing guy over here that can
yeah,
help
yeah.
us.
Guide us.
Yeah, what
Please.
Jayden said. No, I thought yeah, it was about that, but it was also just about like the circle of life, like the rhythm of, you know, things in general, the dying of, you know, the youth or whatever, and all that shit. So
Yeah, that is relevant.
and the book was literally the end. It literally said the end on it, which I thought was fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, no, that 100. I noticed that for sure. Like when he's the final when the poem ended and like there's a pause, there's a brief moment, and he's like literally holding the end.
Yeah.
It's like next to him on the bed. I think I'm like, oh yeah, this is the final shot. I can tell now. yeah. You got that sense for sure.
Do you reckon you give the book back? Like has she gifted him the book, or is it only like read this poem and then give it back to me?
No, I reckon she gifted it to him.
Okay. Because I honestly got hung up on that. I don't know why, but like, I was like, what's he gonna do here?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I mean, if I were him, I would definitely have to consider that. But I also think she's kind of into him, so I think it's a gift.
Yeah. You see, I feel like I need to bring it back to the next writing club and be like, oh, here, and then I need to wait for her to be like, oh no, you keep it, you know.
Yeah,
I don't think I could just keep it on good faith and like, you know, because like then if she like rocks up next time, she's like, yo, where's my book? It's more awkward, you know.
right. So do you think even if I were to think it's a gift, I should still sort of like offer to give it back?
Yeah,
and just to make sure.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I like
But if you treat it as a gift, then it becomes a gift. Yeah.
right,
Steal.
right.
No. You're just treating it as a gift, as borrowing.
Yeah, exactly. The whole aspect of him going to the writers' club as well at that point. So he's obviously in so much debt and everything, and he's depressed. And then a few years later, he gets sort of seems to be on his feet. I would say, as much as one can be, I suppose. But again, that's sort of where the ordinary. What's the right phrasing there? The
mundanity.
That's much better. The mundanity of it sort of comes in right at the end, where it's just like, I think Andy mentions in his review that I'll read soon, that it's sort of like a character study of a boring French guy, and I don't disagree. But that's kind of the aspect I like we've been talking about. I kind of like most about it is that it's sort of just Paul's struggles being ordinary. They do feel universal. Regardless of him being a DJ or whatever he used to be, it is very much just like he was passionate about one thing. He gave it his all. He got depressed and in debt. Then he tried to turn his life around as best he could, and then found other passions, found other people. You know what I mean? It's kind of a universal story. It makes sense. So yeah, that's
imagine how much money he could have had he not been bumping coke fucking 7 days a week. Actually, to be fair, over there it's a lot cheaper than what it is here. So you know.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's really like the most expensive place in the world to buy coke.
Okay, but is it? Would it still be considered like somewhat?
Like,
I imagine
expensive.
Yeah, but like over there, is it still? I imagine it wouldn't be cheap.
Sorry.
I imagine it wouldn't be cheap over there.
Like compared to the $300 that you pay for like a fucking whatever the standard unit is here. Yeah. I think it's like
whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't know if a gram is standard or fucking 3 grams or whatever, but like compared to $300, I'm pretty sure it's way cheaper. Yeah, I'll just search it up. Fuck it, I don't care. I'll get flagged on my computer.
You definitely will get flagged. Yeah.
Yeah, so in 2021, Australia, it's $263 per gram. In France, it was $77 per gram. So it's like a what 20? It's like a 75% saving. So like it's not like it's cheap. $77 per gram.
No.
It's dear,
Oh.
but
Yeah.
significantly cheaper than what it
Is
is.
that
here.
just because like Australia is so disconnected from the rest of the world?
I don't know, but we are some of the biggest cocaine takers. I'm pretty sure, despite the
I'm
price.
just bored, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're bored now.
Oh yeah, no. Country towns is where it's worst. Is where it's the worst.
Oh yeah.
And truckies and country towns because they got nothing to do.
Yeah, that's sad about truckies, though. It makes sense, but yeah,
Mm.
that sucks. Sometimes I sort of just wish for a truckie. It's like, have you ever heard of podcasts? Have you heard of Cinema Effect?
Yeah, replace
We'll cue your
cocaine with fucking three dicks talking about movies.
I mean, hey, there's a lot of, even if it's not this, I mean, it should be, but even if it's not this podcast, there's a lot of other podcasts out there for you that might cue your cocaine habit. That is, of course, the power of podcasts. Okay, we can get to Andy's review because it's an essay here. Andy wrote in his longest review in quite a while and said, I've generally been enjoying some of Liam's past poll-winning picks, and I honestly thought him choosing a Mia Hansen love movie would be the best one of them all. While this probably looks the most appealing out of her filmography, Eden was not worth giving a damn about. Jesus. I definitely liked the musical aspect of it all. The cinematography was decent enough for a film shot so heavily in dark, strobe-lit rooms. But I'm not sure how Mia could write a semi-autobiographical screenplay about her brother that feels so flavourless. Most of the time, it's just characters either partying to loud music, sniffing a line of coke every 15 minutes, or Paul meeting fellow DJs or famous people that I don't care about. None of this helps either because of how much of an issue or dislike I have towards nightclubbing in general. That's fair enough. I get the film is focusing more on the lifestyle of the French techno scene as opposed to being a straightforward character study, but I learnt nothing about Paul or cared about EDM music at all because the film just refused to evolve and expand with the highs and lows of a boring character's life, other than allowing us to appreciate it from the distance. The lead performance was also bland. It did not do much to captivate me at all. I'm guessing that's why he's only got 5 credits on Letterboxd. Gee, that's brutal there. The decades spanning narrative left me no effect whatsoever, as it just lacked the emotional heft I would have wanted from a story tackling some guy's aimlessness and depression through the lens of a constantly changing techno music life. I also get the impression that Mia's brother has never made interesting EDM music in his life. Opinion might also cross over to the DJ from upcoming summer when I get around to watching that film. God, he's really just trying to target.
It's going to ruin everyone's favorite films.
Yeah,
He's really going for us here.
I want to take I don't think we really acknowledge the issue, the acting that much, but I want to take issue with his thing on Paul's actor. I thought it was great. I really bought into him every time he cried, especially. That fucking broke me, man.
Every time he cried, yeah.
But I also thought it was like just really solid all around. I think the Yankees are an issue. I think Greta was actually a really big issue in terms of acting.
Yeah. We sort of. I was actually going to ask how you felt about Greta's acting.
Yeah,
I forgot.
I thought the Yankees were kind of average. But like I think all the French people and especially Paul were pretty good. I think Paul, Cyril, Louise were probably my favorite ones in the acting.
Well, maybe Greta's poor acting is why he didn't understand that it wasn't abusive. She just played it too dramatically.
Her poor acting is exactly why I felt abusive. Yeah. I guess that's what you're trying to say at the same time. Yeah.
Is Greta considered a good actor? I don't think I've seen her.
Frances Hosh is really great. Okay. Which was maybe around the same time. I don't know.
I think it was 2012.
Yeah.
Okay.
A bit earlier, yeah. But yeah, she's kind of average in this, so I won't lie. I tend to agree.
Cool. I'm still going here, sorry. Probably Mia's weakest film so far. Yeah, no, sorry. Because I'm not almost there. Probably Mia's weakest film so far because the films I've watched from her are usually dialogue-driven, insightful, and engaging, unlike this dull film about some DJ. I hated how this had the longest runtime in her filmography, which makes it worse. Shout out to Greta Gerwig for that part where she was reading out the letter straight at the camera in that dissolve shot, because that felt like it would later become a creative inspiration for her film Little Women. 5 out of 10. Is that true? Does she do that in Little Women? I don't recall that.
I think someone does read a letter to the camera, don't they?
Maybe?
Hmm.
I'm not going to lie, it felt kind of awkward in this movie.
Yeah, it did. But then it kind of justifies it as it cycles back at the end. unlike the hand drawn thing where there's two instances.
Mm.
Of it.
True.
I mean, we mentioned Arnold or whatever his name is earlier.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. I just like the vibe he brings to the scene and the kind of the dinner table scene, the two kind of dinner scenes we have, the feeling of like community and that kind of thing. And the Daft Punk kind of drops were pretty cool as well, especially because they were in like transitional scenes. So I feel like they were like perfectly placed.
Every time they got rejected from a club was funny.
Yeah. That would toys, yeah.
Were they actually Daft Punk or actors? I presume they weren't, but
I think they were actors.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're actors. I didn't check them.
Oh, you guys don't know what Daft Punk? Oh, sorry, I just let you
No,
know.
like I have seen pictures of them recently, but I didn't even think like.
I mean, they look pretty young, so like.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, that would make sense. Yeah. And these like 50-year-old dudes that are meant to represent themselves. I just
one
assumed
of them
they
was
were
married
actors. Two? What?
You won't know who they are. So there's no point saying.
Sorry, I get that a lot. Yeah. Okay, let's get to our final verdicts for Eden, Jayden.
Yeah, probably a 7. I think it's too long, and I got a bit too bored to really be charmed by everything overall. I think it was really good though, and I really liked most of it. But yeah, length I think is its biggest killer, to be honest. It's
funny, yeah, it is only 2 hours long, but yeah, I don't disagree. You know what? I'm going to give it a 6 because I had a couple of little quibbles I mentioned, and then at the same time, like I do agree, the first half was kind of just like whatever to me, and probably was the main contributor to the length. The film really only started to become really like you mentioned all the stuff I really talked about liking was just pretty much all in the second half. So I'll give it a 6 for that reason, but I did like it. Fitzy.
Yeah, I'll also give it a 7. I think it's a little slow at times, and it does feel too long to justify the kind of 8, I think. But some parts are obviously really great. But yeah, 7. It's a 7 it's one of those 7s that I can just rewatch, as I kind of said earlier. Like even though it's a 7, I might end up watching this again one day. Just like a certain section of films that have that quality.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? Let me tell you, if we can do it, anyone can. And that's thanks to Zencaster. Like a lot of other podcasts out there, our show is recorded over the web every week. But trying to record a podcast with platforms like Zoom and Discord can be an audio quality disaster. I'm sure you've heard some of the podcasts I'm talking about with long delays, sound cutting in and out. It is not pleasant. Zencaster captures studio quality sound for all of your guests right from your web browser. Zencaster's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. And with Zencaster's all-in-one platform, you can create and distribute your podcast to Spotify, Apple, and other major destinations all in one place. Go to Zencaster.com/pricing and use our code Cinema Effect to get 30% off your first month of any paid plan. That's Zencaster.com/pricing with promo code Cinema Effect with an E for 30% off today. Feel a sense of Zen with Zencaster. Now it's time for our highlights of the week. Huge. Fitzy, do you want to kick us off?
Well, I rewatched all the 7 out of 10 films.
Oh, yeah.
So, good timing. Yeah, I rewatched The Counselor, which is a Ridley Scott film. Cormac McCarthy's only script that wasn't a book. So yeah, it's an interesting. The film's got an interesting kind of place in, movie culture, review culture, whatever. Because it's really kind of low rated on, I think both sides, both IMDb and Letterboxd. But it's really solid. I don't know if it's solidly written. I don't know if I'd say that. It's greatly written, but not solidly written. There are certain scenes that are just amazing. And there's this one scene at the end where this jefe, this Mexican drug cartel mob boss basically delivers this amazing speech on like regret and like grief and that kind of thing. But like the film's interspersed with all kind of crazy performances and just like outlandish things that I can understand why some people like have trouble taking it seriously at times, but I think the film works really well just as a simple kind of morality tale or whatever. Like it's actually a lot simpler than I think you can make it out to be. But the film just looks super awesome, and it just is super like sharp, I guess. And there are some wild like hairstyles in it, I guess, and some outlandish things, but it's still a great film in my opinion. So yeah,
It's got a stacked cast, doesn't it?
yeah. Javier Bardem, and you know how you said Javier Bardem has a different haircut in every film. Yeah, you're right. In this, he's got like this spiked hair, and he's But yeah, it has got a stacked cast, and it's interesting. I think I agree with maybe Cameron Diaz being a bit over the top, but
No, I've seen the film.
yeah.
I don't want to watch
Jayden's
it
not
more.
watching.
Damn it! I shouldn't have said that, man.
Oh no!
Taking it off the watch list.
Whoa. Oh man, yeah, I want to check that one out as well. It's on Disney, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Well, part of what made me remember it, or like want to rewatch it, was like the motorcycle thing you were talking about, Jayden.
Ah, yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds scary. Maybe I don't want to watch it anymore. That's my reason. Oh, this week I watched I watched Anatomy of a Fall this week. I'll shout it out for Andy. And this film, so I read Andy's review after that he wrote. This is great because I could just go back and read his review that he wrote like forever ago. I think like 10 months ago. When you guys saw it at the App Store, didn't you? That's what it said on the review.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy because we were just there for Ben-Hur, and I'm just like, because I can so vividly picture watching this film there now. You know what I mean? It was like a nice little lineup. I was just riveted, dude. I just thought it was a fantastic film. I'm super into like law shit, court cases that are well done. This one was really well done. I was fascinated by the goddamn French justice system, and now they have the jury sit up there like next to the judge. I was like, what the hell is going on here? And the way the whole case flowed, I presume it's like I assume it's how they do it in France. And then the way it serviced the film and the direction was phenomenal. Where like it was just this free flowing thing where like you have a witness, you've got the goddamn prosecutor and the defense lawyers, and then the accused, and they're sort of all talking to each other at once. Like it still has to be orderly, but it was this really interesting thing, which I presume happens in French courts. I was like, wow, I've never seen a court function like this. Usually it's like, this is this person's time to speak and question. Then you go to the other person, then the other person, then you go back. You know what I mean? It was just very much like the witness says something, and then the prosecutor has a question for the person on trial, and they just ask it then and there, and then they go back to it was just a very interesting system in general. And then, but the way that serves the film was fantastic, where it just created these really great dynamics in court, and the way the camera was moving around, it was just fantastic. So yeah, and what's her name? Sandra Hüller? Is that her name?
Yeah.
She was fantastic, absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, no, I just thought it was a fantastic film. So I read Andy's review and pretty much entirely agreed with it. But basically, Fitzy, what's wrong with you? How could you watch this film in the App Store and give it a 6? You know? No, I'm curious about what you felt about it though.
I don't know. I just didn't really get the. I didn't get the point. I guess. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Like she just. I don't want to like spoil too much. Really.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I don't mean to do that. Yeah.
But like, it just didn't feel dynamic enough for me. I guess I'll say. It didn't feel like it was balancing two sides, so I was like questioning anything, or like the fact that I was, even if I was questioning, it was like, well, still, why? Like, what is the point this film is trying to drive home? I guess.
Right.
I don't know.
I think I
just
didn't get it. Yeah. You just didn't get it. Yeah. No. I think I understand what you mean in terms of like the central like.
I agree with whatever Matt Lynch said on Letterboxd. Matt Lynch had a good review of it. It was like
What was
a
the
paragraph
gist of
review.
it?
You want me to find the review and read it?
No, just like what was the gist?
It was basically
What's
like
the point?
like the point the film tried to make is kind of not as meaningful as things. I guess I don't know, something like that.
Okay.
Is Matt Lynch the one with the black and green profile?
Yeah, like
Someone on Twitter this week fucking got really pissed off at one of his reviews, like way too pissed off for no reason, and they screenshot and they're like, eat shit and die, something like that. And like I was like, what issue can you be taking like from this review? And I was like, Jesus Christ, it just makes me hate all that stuff so much more, man. These people, like they're oh, dude.
These people, I agree. Yeah. A movie review, eat shit and die. Yeah. Jayden, what have you been watching?
It's my turn to say what the hell's wrong with you, Zach. 4 stars on Bad Times at the El Royale. Come on, man.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
4 out of 10.
Okay.
Sorry, not 4 stars.
Yeah.
Liam's an intelligent fellow though. He's got it high enough. I think 8,
Really?
7.
what? Bad Times?
I'm pretty sure it's a 7 or an 8.
No. Isn't?
Let me check before you
I
fucking
thought I had
change it.
it like a 5 or something.
Whoa.
Nah, don't you dare go on it and change it. Let me check first.
Oh,
Don't.
hands off the keyboard.
I'm glad you're bringing this up as your highlight because I watched this movie once, just had my raw
No,
takeaway, and never thought
6 out of
never
10.
thought about it. Oh, okay, there you go. I never thought about it again, but like everyone else seems to like this movie, so like I am.
Yeah,
curious.
I think I watched it on like an airplane.
I just thought it was great. I think it was great, like kind of like modern noir thriller mystery type thing. I think the way everything unfolds is cool. I like the characters, I like the aesthetic. I think like the strongest performance is probably from like the least known guy, which is Lewis Pullman, and as that kind of guilt ridden fucking clerk, and the way that his story continues, and it's and where it ends is great. The cast is fantastic. Chris Hemsworth is great.
You liked him, yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Nice.
But yeah, also just like the fact that it can keep me constantly guessing, and nothing was obvious to me, which is the best thing that a mystery can be.
Gotcha. I just
It kind of felt
I
like
don't
a
remember
more
the film well.
stylized Hollywood. Once upon a time in Hollywood.
Oh yeah.
More
Is it a period piece? It is, right?
Yeah, it's set in the similar period of like the 60s or 70s.
Yeah, right. I just remember. I don't know why this sticks out to me. I just remember being so offended at the film's ending and like how it cut to like a pop song at the end. I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah, the ending wasn't quite what I wanted either. To
Okay.
be fair, but to be fair, like to the film,
That's like the only thing I remember.
is that like a lot of the other film, like a lot of the rest of the film, isn't what I wanted it, but then it turned out being like decent,
Yeah, right. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
How long is it?
Oh, so it's a long one. It's like 2 hours 20, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. There's probably there's probably like a meaty story that I just don't remember at all. I'm just like, I got so hung up on the credits. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. As always, we'd love. Wait, no, fuck, god damn it,
Oh.
cut, edit. Now comes the segment where we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, who is your favorite DJ? Andy said, I didn't realize we set him up for this. I didn't obviously have any idea. But alas, unlike Zach, I don't need to search up for celebrities that have stood behind DJ decks once before. In honor of my Letterboxd account name, my favorite DJ is Maggie Chung, who also happens to be my favorite actress. My previous Letterboxd name was also DJ Maggie, with this as my profile pic. See, like, I know, would we have asked the question if we were just setting him up like this? I've left some image samples where Maggie has DJ'd on 2 occasions, so she's
like
qualified.
5.
Whether you guys like it or not. Yeah, there was a lot of pictures here on the Discord. Well, one where she's got a mask on, so that's like must be recent DJ. Okay, good for Maggie. Thank you, Andy. Luke said, well, hang on. Andy also said DJ Lance and then put this GIF in. Do you guys know who this is?
Let me have a look at this.
I feel like this is some shit Jayden would know.
DJ Lance.
Yeah, but it's this GIF of like, it looks like a kid's show.
Oh, that's from, what is that from?
Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yeah, the fucking show.
Yo Gabba Gabba. Did you guys watch that shit? Here we go. Here's another one I didn't watch.
No, I'm pretty sure that was like after our time, wasn't it?
Okay. I don't know.
I think it was like 2010ish, wasn't it? Oh, 2007. Oh yeah, but I think it was more popular like later.
Yeah, it was on like the very threshold of like child programming, and I think I don't think I ever watched it.
So if we had any mates who watched it,
it was kind of
they were watching it a bit too old.
Oh yeah. Holy shit! No, I remember like in year 1 or 2, we were making we weren't making fun of someone, but like
you were bullying a kid.
No. There was a girl. There was a girl in like a year above us who still watched she watched Yo Gabba Gabba.
Right.
And people were like, she watches Yo Gabba Gabba. You know. Oh, I remember that. That's crazy.
So you're still super young, but like old enough to recognize that like you can look down on what other people watch.
Yeah, it was like a meme. Yeah. Yo Gabba Gabba was the original.
Is that the one with that dude with the blanket as well, or is that different? That's the Night Garden one.
The Night Garden.
What year was that? Because that used to be on ABC, whatever. But like, I think that was like one that was like on the threshold of like age as well.
I kind of have a spooky connotation with that one.
2007 as well. Yeah.
Was that show a bit spooky?
Not really. It's kind of like a Teletubbies, but just a bit different.
I think I remember it being like the intro kind of being a bit like all sleepy and lullaby-ish, and I was kind of like, this is creepy.
Yeah.
That's how my brain read it anyway.
Ego Piggy, yeah.
God, this is a throwback. Anyway, Dr. Luke said Will Ferrell. So you can tell he did. Wait, I doubt Luke's been to a Will Ferrell set, so I presume he just Googled, celebrities.
I think he sent through the image a few months ago of Will Ferrell DJing the set at his son's frat.
Oh, on the Discord?
Yeah.
That rings a bell vaguely. Yeah, okay. Well, there you go. I guess that counts. Very good. All right, let's get into our favourite DJs. I will leave Jayden for last, naturally. So, Fitzy.
Jayden could probably get some minus.
Can I? I mean, it depends on how you're defining it, I guess, at the end of the day, maybe.
I just looked up, like, top DJs. Top 100. He's in the top 100, too.
Yeah. I don't think I could guess it. I don't know.
Okay. Fred again.
Oh, okay.
Surprising. Yeah.
Kind of. I it's a bit new school. I thought you'd have someone that you were a bit more attached to,
Yeah, well, I like, I guess I used to like a few Martin Garrix kind of songs, and Skrillex, I guess, a little bit, when he was like, when dubstep was like major.
So he's considered a DJ?
Who?
Skrillex.
Dude, he's
a DJ.
Yeah. Okay, all right. No, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. There's also like Fringe, like Fortet, I think is pretty good. Yeah, Fred again is great. I like Fred again. He's I think he's pretty accessible. Like I think Zach could vibe to some of Fred again's songs.
Yeah,
really?
There's plenty of songs that have enough of a melody to be that like people that are still a bit averted to dance music can get into.
Yeah. Well, okay. No, that's a spoiler. Yeah. I think Zach. Yeah. Never mind. I was gonna say Fred again. There was a Fred again song in some movie that.
Oh, okay, interesting. I'll have to suss that out in a minute here. For me, I mean, my favorite DJ without a doubt is KK Slider from Animal Crossing. Do you know who this guy is, Jayden?
No, I can't.
You got to look up KK Slider. So this dude's a little dog. He's a little dog in Animal Crossing, right? And he's like I've never actually played Animal Crossing in my life, but he's part of pop culture now. So he's like in your town in Animal Crossing. He's this cute little dog guy, and he's holding. He plays music. I think that he plays guitar as well, but he's also a DJ. He's DJ KK. He's pretty sick.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, dude. Look at him. How can he not be your favorite DJ? He's adorable.
Yeah, he's got albums out.
Yeah. No, for real, he's got albums. They release albums in the game for him.
That's funny as fuck.
Yeah, and It's actually like, I mean, like the composer of the games is like meant to be. I don't know how KK Sliders is. I don't know how that came about, but like he's played by the composer. So the point is that he's like a representation of the actual composer.
I saw
So
a
it's
name
like
underneath
there's
saying
some.
Clay K Cider, so does it come from that?
Oh, the guy's Japanese. I don't think his name's Clay, but
Oh, okay.
I don't know. But anyway, so it is actually like it is some cute representation of the actual composer, of a real musician. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that legitimizes it or not, but yeah, KK Slider, shout out.
He looks like he looks like another musician, but I can't pinpoint it.
This
I
dog
thought
looked like
Sugar
another
Man,
musician.
but yeah, no.
No wonder you can't pinpoint it. All right, Jayden, it's your time.
I'll fly through this. Like, look, all right. Number one, I mentioned because it's the film Daft Punk. Daft Punk are incredible. They're some of the best to ever do it, still to this day. Their music is every time I thought I was comfortable with dance or just music in general, I'd go back and listen to a Daft Punk album, and it kind of just redefines what dance music is meant to be. Avicii, the big one, is like it was the first album I ever bought. Granted, it was digital, but it was the first. Like, True is still the first album I ever bought, so it will always be important to me. Really phenomenal stuff. Cream Soda are these Eastern European guys and chick, I think, that make just phenomenal dance music. Really fun to listen to. It's all in Ukrainian, but it's great. Faithless, brilliant, but they're more of a, how you define Faithless is kind of like they're more of a band, but Sister Bliss is the DJ. So I guess Sister Bliss, but Faithless. Like, yeah, you can make a case for Faithless being DJs. Eric Pridz's set at Ultra 2020 in Melbourne was fucking what do you call it? Like transcendental, transcendent for me, dude. It was amazing. He played some of the most amazing shit you've ever heard. And like he played some of the most unknown mixes, not unknown, but like he played some really rare mixes of his songs that it was just kind of amazing. Big ups to Flume, the local shout, big ups to Illenium. He's fantastic, who I brought up a bit earlier. Don't need to say him. Madion is a French DJ, takes a lot of inspiration from Daft Punk. He's fantastic, really melodic stuff. You might like him too, Zach. I wouldn't say that because I'm not really sure if they qualify, but fuck it. Matt Stubbs, he's a lot of fun. He's really cool. Calvin Harris, another big one. Calvin Harris is one similar to Daft Punk, where like you kind of have to go back into his catalog and you see how influential and how kind of fundamental his stuff is. Like his early disco albums, brilliant stuff, man. DJ Shadow, he's a trip hop artist mainly, but he's got DJ in his name, so I guess he's probably like a more traditional disc jockey, So I think he's great. Flight Facilities, another Australian duo. Their decade mixes are great. They take like kind of pop culture, like popular songs and like some pop culture moments, and put them into like a decades long mix. Fantastic stuff. The Hallucination. They're these Indigenous Canadian guys, and they make brilliant kind of like dance music with like Indigenous like influences and like samples. A lot of fun stuff, and like some of their songs have great lyrics and like really impactful lyrics about like colonization, all that shit. Keizo is great. He does a lot of hard stuff. Martin Garrix, who you already mentioned, he's fundamental to me as well, man. Animals back in 13 is like redefining everything, man. And he continues to be like the greatest like kind of set list like assembler. Like every time he uploads a live set to YouTube, it is always phenomenal, and it is always vibey. Not missing out on him at Ultra 2019 in Melbourne is like my biggest regret. But I was too young to go, so it's not like it's my fault, Nightmare, fantastic DJ as well. Puts on also great sets. Presets, who we've mentioned a few times, they're great. IRL Grime, great. Uncle, great. He's more trip hop, old head kind of stuff as well. Vincent, great. Delta Heavy, great. And then my current favorite though is Apache. He blends orchestral and kind of brass music and like traditional brass music with dance music in such a fantastic way because he's classically trained. So like a lot of his songs are built around, especially on his recent album, are built around like kind of a classical piece that he writes first, and then he kind of did the dance parts, I think is how he described it. But he's fantastic, and he tours with a brass band, and it is so awesome, and he's so much fun. But yeah, I'll leave my list there for now.
Thank you, Jayden. Thank you very much. So, wait, stupid question. Is this your favorite genre of music?
It used to be, like, back in high school,
Okay.
like, dance music was where I was at. Now I'm I think probably more rock, or like, I don't know, aligned. But yeah, dance music used to be my favorite genre that I existed in. Yes.
Right. Okay. Well, it sounds like it's still like, up there. It's number 2, I guess. Yeah. Gotcha. Fantastic. List of recommendations for everyone out there. Go check them all out if you can. I'll check out a few. You mentioned that you highlighted a few for me, so I'll do that in a minute. All right. As always, we'd love you to submit your responses, thoughts, and/or reviews for next week's film in the YouTube or Instagram comment section, or join the Discord server this week. The specific question we'll be asking you is, who would you cast as the leads in Twilight today? Let us know. But yeah, I wonder why we're asking that question. Is it because we're reviewing Dr. No again? James Bond? What? No. It's because we're reviewing Fitzy.
Yeah, we are indeed reviewing Catherine Hardwicke's 2008 masterpiece, Twilight. The first in a series of 5 films, the Twilight Saga.
It is 5, yeah, all right, yeah.
Yeah. So
we can do the last one in 2 parts together,
Interesting
No, we don't need
proposal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Stan and Disney, and we're just excited to finally tackle this behemoth,
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. A next franchise, strap in, it's going to be fun. I kind of, in my head, I know it's 4 books, but I don't know why. I kind of just assumed, like, I knew, but I just sort of didn't think, oh yeah, it is going to be 5 months. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Before Cape shit, like, Twilight was like one of the biggest, like, kind of IPs, right? Like, in terms of like box office profit, right?
Before what, sorry?
Cape shit.
What's that mean?
Marvel and DC.
Oh, Cape shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, with Harry Potter, I guess. Well, I don't know. Were the movies as big as I think they were, like box office wise?
I think they were. I feel like some of them were like $1 billion. Like, I reckon, like, surely,
Yeah.
like the part 2 or part 1 was like $1 billion.
Well, I think I just read the whole
Yeah.
franchise was like 5.5 billion or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
2.8 billion.
That's
huge,
disgusting money in Stephanie Meyer's pocket.
absolutely, yeah. God, the thing is, like, I've never even really been adjacent to Twilight. Have you guys? Like, I've never. It's not like, oh, I've never seen it, but like, I know family have loved it or family have seen it. I don't know. I don't think I've ever talked to anyone I know about Twilight in terms of like if they like it or whatever.
No, I've seen the first one, but that's about it. And
Yeah,
I was friends with someone back in primary school that liked them, but that's the extent of my.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There's someone I know that likes Twilight a lot.
Wasn't
Is
it
he
your
in the
uncle
room
that you
with
went
us?
with?
Hey, what did you say, Zach? Sorry, I was laughing at
Wasn't
James.
it your uncle you went with?
Oh yeah, but I initiated that outing. He didn't want to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so clearly not him.
No.
Cool. Okay. Excellent. So check it out. That's it. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Appreciate Liam and Jayden for joining me as always. See you next time, and goodbye.